Hi everyone, Vegas Film Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard, here to review Ben-Hur, the new big remake from Paramount Pictures and MGM Studios. I think they're both working on this together. Okay, now I know what you're saying, because I said it to myself. Why do we need another Ben-Hur? Because this is the fifth one. We've had 5 Ben-Hur movies since it started. I think it was based on the novel in 1880, and everyone knows the Charlton Heston one. I mean, it's like a staple, right? It's a classic. Also, the Cecil B. DeMille one, the silent version, was just phenomenal. If you want to see, everyone knows the chariot race. You know, if you should see the silent version, it's amazing. So this is the 5th incarnation, re-imaging, retelling, whatever you want. And first of all, you're like, okay, we're going to do Ben-Hur again and spend $100 million. You think they would use some names, you know? Unlike we had Exodus from Ridley Scott, you know, a while back with Christian Bale doing an English accent, doing this whole Moses thing. Man, that was bad. And so these biblical films have to be made with care in terms of the audience it's going for. So not only does Ben-Hur, this new edition, look like, you know, a Hallmark movie, it's just made with unknowns. And when I mean unknowns, I say that, you know, kind of, you know, respectfully, because we have the 2 brothers. One's adopted, and one is a Jewish prince, and one is a Roman. It's Jack Huston, and who's the other guy? Toby Kebbell? Oh, my glasses. Where are they? Hope I'm saying your name right. So it's about 2 brothers who, they grow up in privilege, and of course, the Romans are taking over Jerusalem, and there's all this unrest going on, and, you know, Jack Huston playing Judah Ben-Hur ends up being a slave and also fighting for his life and trying to get revenge to find out what happened to his family because when the Romans took over Jerusalem. And first, the casting of Jack Huston is just totally wrong right off the bat, because he plays Ben-Hur with such a passive kind of, you know, attitude and arrogancy about him. And he's all soft, you know, he's not tough at all. His brother's tough, but, you know, he's a Roman soldier. But, you know, when you had Charlton Heston, you had this commanding kind of performance. And you had this man who would, like, led slaves, and just, you felt this kind of power behind the man. And with him, he kind of just walks through it. And also his attitude in the movie. His brother shows up as a Roman and go, look, you know, Pilate's going to be coming through here. You know, just have your people not start any trouble, because if they do, there's going to be bloodshed like you've never seen. And he's like, oh, don't tell me what to do. And he was so arrogant. You just kind of say to yourself in this version, you know, Ben-Hur, you got what you deserved. You really did. Your brother's trying to help you, and you got all this attitude. It's like, you know, so what? You know, you deserve to be a slave, and all that happened to you when he was just trying to help. Now, in terms of the story, it's really clunky, it's really slow, and at times I was very confused trying to figure out who was who, and not in terms of Ben-Hur and his brother, but some of the female leads, I was just like, is that the sister or is that the slave girl? I mean, they kind of look alike, and it's just, and also the movie can't decide whether to be contemporary or to be kind of a classical setting, because there's one scene where Huston is like looking at his brother's armor, and he's like, oh, wow, look at this. They said, oh, wow, back in biblical times, or even said progressive. He says to one of the townspeople, oh, you're very progressive with your progressive ideas. They had the word progressive back in whenever the Bible days. So I thought that was kind of corny. And now let's talk about the action sequences. Yes, there's a galley scene where he's on a slave ship for 5 years, and a battle scene, kind of like right out of one of the what's the movie with the Greeks? 300. Just like out of the sequel to 300, you know, it's really exciting. And then the special effects were top notch. And then everyone's asking me about the chariot race. Yes, the chariot race reminds me a lot of, you know, the not Attack of Clones, Phantom Menace, you know, when you had that kind of the race going around. But I just kept thinking that they did it better in the original, the silent version, and also the Charlton Heston version. So there really wasn't anything added to the chariot race, except that it just was a 10, 15-minute spectacle that just didn't have anything kind of holding it together. So the whole movie comes off as a Hollywood film. It doesn't feel like realism in it. And someone called it, I read another review, I love this, fake classicalism. That is such a great term for Ben-Hur. I'm not saying it's a horrible film, but it's no means a great film. I'm mixed on it. I really am. I wanted more out of it. And it also just knocks you over the head with Christianity. And I'm thinking if you go into this movie thinking that it's going to be kind of like a neutral of entertainment, no. We have the crucifixion. We have Jesus throughout the whole thing. They keep reinforcing Christian principles and Christian teachings to it. And I'm sure, you know, 80-90% of this country is Christian, but I'm just saying if people are going into that, you know, it really kind of lays it on thick. So this Ben-Hur, they should have stuck with the myth version of Ben-Hur instead of doing this more humanistic, this humanism approach to Judah Ben-Hur, which just makes him kind of a soft milquetoast kind of guy. I wanted a better hero, I really did. And of course, we got to mention Morgan Freeman before we go, playing the Sheik. I really thought he had the hair of the Predator. I was kind of laughing at that, but you know what? He was pretty damn good. I mean, he kind of looked like the character from the Lego, the Lego movie, and that kind of the narration and all of that. Anytime he does that, he sounds like he's booming voice of God. But you know what? He was pretty cool as the chariot kind of Sheik that took Judah Ben-Hur under his arm and under his wing, and kind of taught him how to be, in chariot races and all that. So you kind of wanted more action like in Gladiator, something more commanding like a Russell Crowe, and instead you kind of get a real kind of wimpy Ben-Hur. All right, for more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfromcritic.com. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and share. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you next time.